Hi everybody, Carol here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing card number 10 of 10 Cards 1 Kit, Simon Says Stamp, July Kit. And I'm going to start with the stamp set in the kit called Be Yourself. And I'm using these stamps, the honeycomb, just the bees holding hands, the heart bee, one of the hearts. And so I'm starting with the VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and I'm actually going to be making 3 cards, but they're all similar and the same theme. And I'm starting with the honeycomb and the long one, and I'm going to go ahead and do 2 cards at one time. A large one, you can tell it is larger than the other one, and I'll make 2 of the smaller ones. But right now I'm going to stamp off 2 at a time, and speed it up so you don't have to watch every little detail. But I'm also stamping on the bottom, and now I'm going to pull up the bees that are holding hands, because these are going to be love themed cards, and the large one is actually going to be a wedding. So you'll see that as it goes along. So stamping the bees on the other one, all approximately the same position. Now I took the heart stamp, and you may can see there's a circle there, a cutout. I cut out the little bitty bee that is in the middle of that stamp, because I'm going to be using it again many times, you'll see. And but you'll see my mistake here. When I stamped this down, when I put it up on my acrylic block, I didn't put the edges together exactly perfectly, so it left a black ink streak there. But I'll go back and fix it. So I redid the stamp on the block and put the edges together better. So I took care of the line, but I didn't stamp it hard enough to make the dash lines, so I went back with my pen and filled in those lines. Now I'm going to take this big product called Cover It that I got at the dollar store, and covering up that line that I made. Now then, another sentiment here is meant to be, B-E-E. And I'm going to use it on both cards, but in slightly different positions. And you'll see why in a minute. And then I'm going to take the little honeycomb stamp, which is just 3 hexagons, and fill it in some of the blank spaces. Not all of them, because they have some other things I'm going to stamp. But I'm letting some of them go off the paper. And I will go back and fill up in on the big card too, but not as much. Now here we come with the little bitty bee that I cut out. I'm going to put him right back in that heart where he was originally, but I need him for other places too. And in fact, on this heart on the left, I'm going to put 2 bees, because it is about 2 bees coming together. So now I'm going to take one of the hearts. There are 3 hearts in the set. I'm going to take the largest one and stamp it in red ink and put it roughly in the corners around the centerpiece. And I'm not measuring or anything like that. And then I'll go back in and fill in around the edges with some whole hearts and some parts of hearts. And now I have an old stamp set from Stampin' Up! Called Oh How We Danced, and it's a wedding card, a wedding stamp set. So I took some rings out of that stamp set, and I'm putting them around in the 4 corners again, around the centerpiece of the card there. And these are like an engagement ring and the wedding ring. And now I'll go back with the heart on this one, but I wanted to give priority to the rings and where I placed them, and then I'll fill in with the hearts nearby. Now I'll say right now, you can certainly color these hearts in and make them solid. I do on one card, you'll see that. Not all of them, but some of them. And so now another old stamp set from from Stampin' Up is called Sketch It. And there is this bow, a large bow in it, and it just kind of hit me that in a wedding setting, you know, the center aisle that the bride and groom the bride comes down, how they decorate the edge of the row of chairs or the pews and have flowers and ribbons and bows. And I just thought that reminded me of a wedding setting. And so I wanted to put those bows on there at the top of the honeycomb columns. So now I'm going back with this little bee, and I'm just filling in quite a lot actually on these cards. And I will go back and color them, very simple coloring, but the black lines and the stripes around their bodies are already filled in, so that makes it a lot easier. And I have those little bees on this card too, just filling in some of the white space, because these little bees are supporting their friends who are in love, and they're certainly coming to the wedding, and so they're there to celebrate with the couple. And so on this big card, I'm also going back, now that I've done the rings and the heart and the bees, and I'll go back and fill in if I need to with a little more honeycomb. Now I'm going to use this word just on what I call the wedding card, but this stamp is just because, B-E-E, but I didn't want the because, I just wanted the just. So I didn't have my painter's tape handy, so I just used some cellophane tape and taped off the word because, and testing it out there, and it works fine. Of course, you're going to get ink all over that tape, so you need to be sure to remember to take that off. Ask me how I know. And so then I'm just fiddling with the placement here, hoping it works fine. If it doesn't, I can always make another sentiment on a separate piece of paper and glue it down on top if there is a mistake. But it came off just fine. So now, excuse me, I wanted to write the word married, just married. I should say print. So I'm just with the pencil lightly doing all caps, married, and it's not perfect. I don't think it has to be. You can use alphabet stamps if you have them, and I do, but I just wanted to go ahead and just do it this way. And then I'll go back with my Zig Millennium markers and go back over those pencil lines, and if I need to do any tweaking, a straighter line or a longer line or that kind of thing, now would be the time to do that. And so just married. I'm trying to take my time and not rush through it and make a mistake, although again it could be redone on another piece of paper and glued down, but I'm okay with that. So it is a handmade card after all. And so there are the two together, and I will color the bees in. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know how I color the bees, so I'll speed this up tremendously, and I won't do all of them, but it's just to show you the process. Yellow for the heads and the stripes, pink cheeks or red cheeks, and then go back with an orange around the face and on the sides of the stripes. It really makes a difference. It just adds color and interest. And so then I'll do the same thing on this card and on the third card, and you don't need to see all that, but I'll fill in off camera. And then the blue wings that are darker where they overlap, but otherwise light colored wings. And now this is when I go back and I start coloring all the little bees. Yellow heads with the touch of orange and yellow stripes, because up close you do see it and it makes a difference. And then go back with blue for the wings, And yes, it did take some time, but not that much because it's so simple and so fast. And it's whenever it's worth the effort and the look, I'm willing to do it. And so I'll take my Zig Millennium pen and go back and highlight the little eyes, color the noses, do the stripes. I don't bring the black line all the way to the center. I leave some white in between to give it a more curvature and also to kind of look like a reflection or a shine. And I use the pen because it's a glossier blacker black than I get from a colored pencil. So so there you go, just showing a little bit more of the coloring of the bees on the big card so that you will know that it was done. And full disclosure here. So, and then I'm going to color the little rings. I just used yellow to represent gold, and just another little touch. So here it's time to put it all together. The smaller card, red back. They both have a red back, and then with a little bit of a black back that just shows a slight edge around the stamped page with a stamped picture. Here's the larger card with the same black edging, and then that's what they look like together. This is a 5.5 by 7.5 and a 7 1/4 by 8.5. Now the third card I haven't shown yet. That's the card base that opens up, same size as the small one, red, black, and then this is that page. It is more filled in with honeycomb. I colored some of the hearts. Could have colored all of them. I just wanted you to see the difference and see which one you like better, and if you think it would look better to have them all colored. There are the bees that are colored. I took a yellow ink pad and a makeup sponge and went around the honeycombs, just around the edge of the card, to add some color to this card, which makes it different from the other two. So I'll pull these two in, otherwise they're almost exactly alike except for the colored honeycombs and the colored hearts. So and so one other thing that I didn't show earlier was that I went back and colored in the word just, the letters J-U-S-T, with 2 shades of red. And I think that it looks a lot better myself, so I'm glad that I did that. I do want to say I apologize if these words are not lining up with the picture. Something went wrong, and I've tried to correct it a few times, and I'm just going to leave it as it is, but hope it's better than it sounds to me. So thank you for joining me. There are some still shots at the end, and then at the very end, some videos that you might like to see of the other 10 cards or the other 9 cards. And thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate it, and see you before too long. Bye-bye.